Well, there you go. I've got Mr. Kasirye Uthman. He's a resident of Chira, Kampala. But is that it? Where are you from?
I'm just everywhere.
So there in Chira, you just go there once in a while, then you go to another place.
Yeah.
But like for now, that's where your beddings are.
No.
Buambo.
Yeah. So there I don't have beddings.
You don't have beddings?
Yeah, I just lay down, just have a mat there.
Uthman.
I'm being real.
No, I like that. I mean, I can't say anything about. I just thought you look well rested. So you look like a guy who has a nice 6-inch mattress. You know, like you.
Yeah, because I think at some moment I learned. I'm always trying to see how I can maintain my image from my personal life. Even much it's a little bit hard, but you know, people don't give a fuck about it.
So you look good out there.
Yeah.
You first strip down and you become a normal guy.
Yeah.
So there's Uthman and there's Kasirye.
Yes.
I like that. And you're aware of that.
Yeah, and when I'm home, I'm just me, free. I fetch water everywhere. So everyone is like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dope. And, you know, I've heard your story. You know, to cut his story short, because it might take like an hour.
Yeah.
Kasirye comes from a background of being on the street, getting support, losing support. You know, there's just a deep story about him, and it's very awesome to see that story has taken you places, and here is where we are currently.
Yes.
When you've come here with the Pearl of Africa Star Search, I want to know, what have you seen that is different about you from other people? What have you seen that, because sometimes when you are living alone, or like you're staying in your own world, there's a way you don't see how different you are from other people. You can see the fact that you're alone, but you don't really, if you're around people all the time, you kind of see it. So like with this crew, what have you seen that is different about you, or let's say unique?
I just feel like at times I just think people like look at me like a weirdo.
Really?
Yeah, of which.
But how do you look at yourself? That's what other people say.
I look at myself as Uthman the Great.
And what do you think is different from you and other people? What makes Uthman the Great? What makes Uthman the Great? I think that's the deeper question. Because of course you're Uthman the Great. We see that.
Yeah.
But what makes you the great? What do you think are those, let me call them ingredients, that make you Uthman the Great?
I think what makes me great and unique is that all my free time, the best thing I communicate to and I connect to, it's my own music. So me 24/7, you hear me this year listening to the same song, the next year listening to the same song. The reason why I do that, I just feel like I've not done enough. However much at times people are like, man, this is dope, this is great. But I just feel like I'm going to listen to it over and over and over and over up to when I do something, up to when I do magic out of it. So I think what makes me great from some of my friends, I think it's not bad because we've all got our world we're living in. But I just feel like most of them listen to other people's music, what and what. Man.
Yeah.
But me, I just believe this is me, I'm too original. I just have to listen to myself over and over and over and over to improve. So most of the time I don't listen to other people's music to improve because I can't be more skilled, I can't be Ibra. I just have to be me, so I need to listen to myself over and over and over and over again.
Okay. And I think that's very commendable. I think I'm one of those people as well, because like, if I do an advert
Yeah.
and it's like an advert of MTN,
Yeah.
I want to listen to that voice over and over and over again. But there's one thing that I have that is different from you. Whereas I listen to that advert and I'm the only one listening to it, like let's say using headphones, for you, you use a speaker and make sure everyone knows that you're listening. How comfortable do you feel, or what makes you feel comfortable to play your music in public? And yet some of us, we rather listen to the music in our headphones because maybe we're afraid, maybe because we don't want to inconvenience other people, maybe because we're not confident, like the way you are. And I wouldn't knock that hustle, because I mean, listening to your music is very important. But I want to know how you are very carefree, because ever since we got here, Uthman has played his music. I think you played some of your songs more than 100 times in the past 2 days. And tell you what, people out here now know your music, which is a good thing. But like some of us, if it's not released music out there, would listen to music in our headphones and try to like. So I want to know from your end how comfortable you feel.
Okay, I think, by the way, it's not only here. Even where, like, some people at times, when they see me, they start whispering, it's coming now, Uthman radio. And I'm like, you know what, man? Music is my mom, is my dad. It's the savior for my future. You either like it or not, you're gonna listen to it, and you must know me that I exist and I've got good music. And you listen to it, it's good now, I get again, I improve. You'll be like, oh, okay, at times I'm this guy who's like, at times I just feel like people give a fuck, they don't give a fuck. Sometimes it kicks in and I'm like, okay, everyone is on his own stuff. Let me also be on my own stuff. Yeah. So at times I just feel like, one thing I've learned about humans, we humans, you really can't impress all.
Yeah.
Like make everyone happy. Because even if when you do good, they'll still look for that bad part of you. Even if you do bad, they'll still talk. So one thing I learned about humans, for them they really do talk and they can't really impress everyone.
You can't change that.
Yeah. And I just got used to that and I'm like, you don't like me, it's okay, you've got like freedom not to like me. Yeah. So at times I just feel like,
So like there is a case of and I'm trying to understand it so that I can give you like what I think about it, but I don't think I should say things before I know.
All right.
So like when you play your music for people, okay, let's say when you go out there and you play music for people, I feel there are two things. One thing is you like your music.
Yeah.
The other thing is you want people to know your music and like it.
Yes.
And if they hate it, you don't care. Is that it?
Yes.
That's it. Now, if you play your music for people, I feel like music is like, it's a product. Like music is like say, a chapati, right?
Yeah. See.
And imagine you are making chapatis and you wanted everyone to know about your chapatis.
Yeah.
But every day you are doing this to them. Open your mouth. You're putting the chapati in their mouth.
No.
The first day they'll be like, oh my God, what are the ingredients you put in this chapati? The next day they'll be like, nigga, man, I'm not dying with your chapatis in my mouth.
Yeah.
There's something about music and it being a product that if you listen to, like, let's say a radio song that you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you'll feel a different feeling than you felt the first time you had it. The first time you had it, it struck you differently. 10 years later, it still strikes you, but differently. Even if it's a good song. So I feel like when you exhaust a product, it either gains more value or loses almost all the value. It's like wearing the same shirt every single day. Do you fear that?
No, basically I don't, because one thing I know, this music I do is just, it's meant for souls. I always make sure. By the way, when I'm writing my music, apart from this dancehall music, the rest of the music I do, I tap into people's heart. So I'm like, because I've done songs and people used to listen to them, haven't released them, and still up to now I have some new music, but someone is like, no, give me the other song, Gumpe, and I'm like, you know what, it's not yet out. When it's out, I'll let you know. You go stream it, you go do everything. So one thing I know about myself, I'm not going to tap into everybody's heart, but at least me at times I don't care. On the 100, if I tap on like 2 people's heart. That's enough for me, because one thing I've learned, I really can't impress everyone. And I think this has helped me, because as I was growing up, I really wanted to be like, I really want to make everyone happy. How am I going to do that? So now I'm going to sing raga, you sing this, you do this, you do this. Up to when I realized, because everyone who gets you is like, man, have you listened to your voice? You can do it like Bafana. Wasobolo mujao. You know me at times, and this person who is like, oh yeah, okay. I think that's one thing we share with Ibra, if I'm not mistaken, because I really take long to be like, I'm someone who keeps quiet like this, and at times I don't say and the more I've grown up, I think it really has helped me. I'm not really too grown, but mentally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I've just learned more again about how to deal with people. One thing I found out, I'm not going to find someone perfect. But the only good part I find, I'm okay with that. The bad part of him or her, I'm just going to bear with it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the thing that I've seen about you, that I let me tell you something. It's a strength. You know, I think to break through doors, you need to kick the doors sometimes. You can try and open them with a key, you can try and, but sometimes you kick through the door. So depending on how you get through in the industry, I personally don't think you should stop, doing what you do. Though I know that one thing is important, the sun cannot shine on earth every single hour. The earth also needs to have some darkness, and then the rain can drop, and then rain, there's seasons.
Seasons.
So my thinking is, from what I've experienced with you, which I think is a strength, I think you need to know the seasons. You need to know what 1 p.m. looks like, what 1 a.m. looks like, you need to know what 7 p.m. looks like, because, and I'm not saying that you take this as your main routine, but I'm saying that we should learn from people that we are around. One thing that I've learned about you is that I need to be more confident with my art, and I need to put it out there without caring. I need people to just listen to my art. But then, on top of that, I need to put my art out there, well knowing that it's going to be going to this, and it's going to go to this, it's going to make this happen. Because from my experience listening to your music, the first day I did not know your music. The first day when we were in Mbale, you were singing in the morning, and I felt like, oh my God, this guy has a lot of passion for music. The second day, I listened to your music from like 6 a.m. till midnight. And I was like, I know like 3 of your songs. Then the third day, I'm like, hey, but now, it's now beginning to get to my head. And then maybe that's because I've been staying with you like every day. Because like maybe if you had given me that first day that I appreciated, and then we do not meet again like for 6 days, maybe I'll ask you to give me that music. But like if, let's say, you're in one environment and you do the same thing every day, the chances are that people will think you don't need them. And when people feel you don't need them, in my perception is that then you don't need help.
Yeah.
And the truth is, love is kindness without expecting in return. Love is help. Love is giving. And I feel like your main thing should be love. You should be able to give, because if you're doing music for the soul, the one thing you do for the soul is to give.
Yes.
You know, so I think you should be able to know, like, when to give and when to give to yourself.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can get drowned in giving without regard, without caring of the consequences. And when they happen, you feel like it's because of your giving that became a problem. And that's not the problem. Giving is not the problem.
Okay.
I don't think a mother can always breastfeed a child. Sometimes the mother says, vow. You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes the mother will slap the baby for breastfeeding.
No.
Something like that. So, and it's not that the mother doesn't love the child.
I understand.
So I think for me, Uthman would be in this competition, you're very strong.
Yeah.
Because you don't really give a fuck. And that's what sometimes can take you far. But you need to give a fuck. Cindy was telling us how, listen to Mackenzie, but don't listen to Mackenzie.
Yeah.
You need to give a fuck, but you don't give a fuck. And it's not like, there's a very thin line between love and hate.
Yeah.
You don't need to overlove, you don't need to overhate. Just understand what love and hate is.
Yeah. Okay, I think mostly the main point where I really don't give a fuck, it's when now I start about music. Because I know because I've really faced people who are like, no, you can do this. No, change the style of music. No, do this.
He wanted for an interview.
And now
I thought he's done. Okay, so let's wrap this up real quick.
Yeah. So, it reached a time, and I'm used to what people say about me. So, in the real me, I really give a fuck, because at times I'm like, okay, why is he talking to me like that? I think I need to get to know. And I'm like, okay, are we okay? But when it comes to music, I just feel like, no, this is now a war zone.
Your music is an extension of yourself.
Yes.
If Kasirye cannot listen, Uthman will not listen.
Yeah.
And what you extend out there is what becomes you.
Okay.
I'm not saying you should do what people are telling you to do. I'm saying you just listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Because Kasirye works for Uthman.
Yes.
Uthman doesn't work for Kasirye.
Yeah.
And Uthman's music can only be good if Kasirye accepts it.
Okay.
Because Uthman is just a machine.
Okay.
The moment you stop listening to Kasirye, no one will listen to your music, and you'll find it hard to break through.
Okay.
You have to go for an interview. Unfortunately, I've over-talked, so unfortunately he has to go for an interview, but we'll talk more.
Yeah, right.
You need to watch out for this guy. He's definitely going to be a star. It's not a case of he's not going to be a star. So watch out for him, and you listen to his music every day.
Either you want it
or you don't.
Not.
Big up.